Tonight, an exclusive hidden camera investigation. Channel 4's Ana Garcia uncovers what residents of one local community are calling their dirty little secret. It's an illegal village of squatters made up of hundreds of illegal immigrants. Ana followed the undocumented workers, and more than likely, you have the fruits of their labor in your house right now.
It is the life of a third world country. Makeshift homes tucked into the hillside, covered with plastic and trash everywhere. The people who live here bathe in the river, wash their clothes there, and the toilet is anywhere they want it to be. Where are we? In the backyard of these million-dollar homes in northern San Diego County.
This is like our dirty little...
Julie Adams has lived here 15 years.
This is a shanty town on the edge of my community, and it's being allowed.
This encampment of mostly undocumented Mexican workers is filled with hundreds of squatters spread over acres along jogging and bike trails. But in order to understand what really goes on in this illegal encampment, you have to go in there, and you have to live there, and that's exactly what we did. We sent in 2 undercover photographers with hidden cameras wired in their shirts to live in the camp. Once deep in the canyon, our cameras captured close-up just how many people live here and how filthy it is. We also saw the trappings of an established community with areas for parking and food vendors, lots of beer drinking and the drunkenness that goes with it, as well as drug dealing and prostitution. The women are driven into the village in groups, the brothel set up in the bushes. Like with so many other communities, the vices are tempered with a little religion. On Sundays, a local church ministers in the camp. Homeless migrant workers have been illegally camping in McGonigal Canyon for more than 20 years, but the buffer zone between the homeless and the homeowners has been shrinking because of development, bringing the two worlds too close for some.
You feel a threat to your safety as their concentration grows.
Watch how men pop out of the bushes through people's yards at 5 and 6 in the morning as the migrants go looking for work. As the sun rises, the men keep coming out, and in a little while, the school children will wait on the same corner for the school bus.
It's a safety issue, it's a fire issue, it's a quality of life issue to have a 300-man shanty town on the edge of our community.
Police confirm a woman was assaulted on one of the jogging paths 3 months ago.
I am not at this point able to link that in any way with this migrant camp out there.
And what about the prostitution we caught on tape?
I don't know that prostitutes are going in there, and I'd like to see any evidence or any video footage you have at that.
There's no real push to get them out.
Why?
There's big companies, I'm sure, that are employing these guys, and they're cheap labor.
It's against the law to employ undocumented workers, so we wanted to find out who was hiring them. As part of our undercover investigation, we followed them to work. For several mornings, I followed the same carload of workers to this farm, 20 minutes away. B.Y's Organic Heirloom Tomatoes. This worker says he's been with B.Y's farm 2 years and has been living in the camp the whole time. He admits he gave the employer a false address in Vista, and as far as his status, he's here illegally, he says.
Can you call the person in charge? We're from Channel 4.
Owner Bill Brammer gets on the two-way.
It's not my responsibility of where they live.
A few minutes later, the owner arrives and asks us to leave.
I don't want to be filmed. So.
Our surveillance of the migrants leads us to another farm, a much larger operation, Rancho Santa Fe Farms. Our undercover photographers follow the homeless migrants to work on this morning, and the foreman agrees to hire our photographers. When I show up, I ask who lives in the camp and works here. This teen says he does.
We want to talk to someone about your hiring practices and if you're hiring undocumented workers here at the farm.
Rancho Santa Fe Farms has a class action lawsuit against it claiming unfair wage practices. If the problems we've uncovered in this village seem far away from your life, you may be more connected than you realize. The tomatoes picked by these migrants living like this are sold at Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, Gelson's, and Mayfair markets.
They need to put in sanctions on employers that are hiring these guys.
Gelson's and Mayfair had no response. Whole Foods, which markets itself as a socially conscious company, says they don't comment on allegations. Trader Joe's CEO sent a letter. He expects suppliers to abide by the law, but the living conditions we uncovered are, quote, outside the scope of our influence. The homeless migrants don't just work on farms. Our cameras captured them working as gardeners and day laborers.
I've complained to the police department. I've complained to the mayor.
The political powers don't have a backbone to actually do what the people want.
It's almost as if the city's looking the other way.
No, I don't want to say we're looking the other way. I think what we're doing is looking this in a very humane fashion.
The police say there's little they can do because they are squatting on private property, and they admit they want to keep the migrants contained.
I'm not looking to rush right into that canyon and move them up onto the surface streets in the city of San Diego. We're just going to create a larger homeless population than we already have.
And so, before the sun even rises tomorrow on McGonigal Canyon, the migrants will begin popping out from behind the bushes of these suburban homes, ready to start a new day working in the Southern California economy. Anna Garcia, Channel 4 News.
Now, the police tell us the migrants are on land owned by two large developers, Pardee Homes and D.R. Horton. Pardee says they regularly patrol their property and they remove the trespassers. D.R. Horton didn't respond at all. Both companies declined to be interviewed for us on the story on camera.